What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. As you can tell from the title, we got a great video for you guys, and that is the review of the Jordan 3 White Cement Reimagined. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So before we get into any details of the box and the shoes, I just want to go over the release of this shoe. Now, just like the Jordan 1 Reimagined, that was also a very high release. You know, like they had, I believe, 500,000 pairs. So basically, you could say it was a GR. This one was the same way. But, of course, with high demand, it didn't seem like there was 500,000 pairs of shoes. So if you remember when the Chicago 1's Reimagined came out, the release for that was absolutely a nightmare. It seemed like no matter how many times you put in for raffles or how many accounts you had open for trying to get on sneakers, it just seemed like you couldn't get a pair. At least for me. I know I put in for 15 raffles for that shoe and I didn't hit a single one. I don't know how that was possible. I should have at least maybe hit one or two, maybe, but it's a Chicago, so I couldn't be too upset, and I understood. But at the same time, you got 500,000 pairs. How am I not getting one? You know, but with the threes, it was kind of the same situation. They had 500,000 pairs, and then there was a bunch of raffles for this shoe. I put in for the same amount, maybe even more, and I still only hit once, which does not make sense to me. But nonetheless, I still hit on these. So now that that's out of the way, that little rant, let's get into the shoe. Getting into the box, we know that this is supposed to be an old shoe, closer to resembling the original 1988 pair. Getting into the box, just like the Chicago 1's Reimagined, the box is distressed, aged. It looks like it's been sitting around for a while, you know, all that good jazz. What I wish they did with the threes box was for the Chicago pair, they had the price tag on this side of the box, and it had like another one over saying it was discounted. I wish they did that with this box, but it's not really that big of a deal. It probably would have been, you know, given a little bit more personality, I guess you could say. But I do like the aged look of the box. It's a very solid touch, and, you know, it gives it, you know, that old vintage, you know, you found this sitting around in probably like your dad's attic or basement or whatever, and, you know, it just so happens to be a Jordan 3. So, now getting into the internals. So on the inside of the box, you get this card. Got the same kind of outlay of the box with the distressed all around the edges. And then it's basically just how the shoe is made. So now before we get into the shoe, I want to touch on, you know, the quality control that Nike has been dealing with these past couple years, honestly. With these threes, the quality control has been very horrendous for most shoes. Some people have been getting mold on them, but the biggest one is the elephant print. So if you don't know what the elephant print is, it is this outline right here along the shoe, on the heel and the toe. Now, a lot of people have been getting elephant prints that are different thicknesses, or, you know, one's lighter and one's darker, one has more, one has less. And even if you look at the stock pictures on sneakers, even those have different elephant prints on it. But lucky for me, my elephant print has been pretty normal. Nothing too different, and nothing too crazy. They're both kind of the same shades, both kind of the same thicknesses, nothing too crazy. And even if it was different, I honestly would not mind. I'd be a little annoyed, but I'd rather have the elephant print look different rather than my shoes be absolutely terrible and moldy. The only thing that I've noticed quality control wise is that on the left shoe, the toe box right here is all a little muffed up on this side. Um, it's nothing super noticeable unless you're like kind of like looking down on it. That's why I noticed it. But if you're kind of looking at it head on, it's not too noticeable, so I'm not really worried about it. But other than that, the quality on these so far are really good. There's no mold, no glue stains, just minor little things that you won't really notice unless you're actually looking at the shoe. So now getting into the shoe itself, the upper is an all over eggshell color tumble leather, very soft, very good quality leather, unlike that vinyl crap that Nike's been using recently. And then you got the Covenant elephant print on the toe box and the back of the heel. And to go along with the theme that this is a vintage old shoe, you got that cream bottom midsole with the cream back tab to give it that aged look, like it's been oxidized. Then you got your outsole, just your regular outsole, nothing crazy. I do wish that for the threes, they added a something. They could have added something to make it more aged, maybe a more creamier white leather, maybe. But then again, I don't think that would have worked out well. If anything, probably more like a faded outsole, kind of like how they did on the Chicago's. Not much to this shoe. It is a classic colorway on a classic silhouette. You can never go wrong with a 3. I'm very happy that the quality is good on my pair. I hope that if you hit on these, that the quality on yours is going to be great. But then again, I wouldn't hold my breath because Nike's been slacking. So now getting into pricing, some smaller size and even larger size are still available on sneakers. I don't know how many are still going to be there by the time this gets put out because I just got these. But if you're still looking for a pair and you got big ass feet or you got little ass feet, you could still probably find your size on sneakers or other sites because I've seen several sites that have small to big size ranges. But if you cannot find your size, luckily for everybody, the retail or the resell on these is maybe like $10-15 over retail pricing, which I'm so glad that is, because with the Chicago's, the resale price was jumping between $200 to $300, and now it's sitting at $400 for most sizes. So I'm glad with these that these are going to be more accessible to a lot of people. Because I feel like if you're going to have 500,000 pairs of shoes in a classic silhouette for a classic colorway, this should be accessible to a lot of people. Alright, so that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you see, make sure you sub to the channel. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out.